gentlemen, a very warm welcome back to the action. We are coming to you live on Sky Sports, and this is the Premier League. And it's coming to you from the great city of Rotterdam. It's all brought to you by the Professional Darts Corporation. And now, ladies and gentlemen, this is our Rotterdam final. And it's time to welcome back our finalists. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of 7 PDC titles, a World Championship semi-finalist, and a winner of the Masters. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Hollywood Chris Dobey! International Darts Open, a winner of the Bahrain Darts Masters. Ladies and gentlemen, a 2-time World Championship semi-finalist, a winner of the Masters, and ladies and gentlemen, a Lakeside champion. It's time to welcome back the Bullet, Stephen Bunting!
Here in Rotterdam tonight. Time for our final then. Chris Dobey meets Stephen Bunting. Well, Bunting with a couple of last leg deciders tonight. Come through both splendidly. First against Michael van Gerwen, then against Luke Littler. So what can he deliver against Dobey? Winner in Berlin, of course, a couple of weeks ago. Can Bunting do it all again? For Chris Dobey, meanwhile, it was a 6-3 quarter-final win over the world number 1 Luke Humphries, then a 6-2 semi-final victory over last week's winner Nathan Aspinall. He is averaging over a ton for the night, had some fantastic finishing as well. This a second final for Hollywood. Can he clinch a first nightly win? For the last time tonight then, let's head to comms and join Mark Webster and Rod Studd.
Thank you, Emma. Yes, well, who'd have thought it? 7th against 8th in the nightly final in Rotterdam. It was almost the final in Berlin, but Gedwin Price beat Chris Dobey to deny him a spot in the final where he would have played Stephen Bunting. The first time we reckon that 7th has met 8th in a nightly final since week 6 of 2022, when it was Gary Anderson against Michael Smith. And this is the night Stephen Bunting has waited for, because if he wins this match, he'll be off the bottom of the league ladder. Finally, He's been the cellar dweller all year in the Prem. This could be his night in every sense. Chris Dobey can deny him that and move clear of Stephen Bunting towards the bottom of the table. Welcome again to Mark Webster. What do you reckon will happen here, Mark?
Well, a close encounter is to be expected. Both players have earned their spots in the final. For Chris Dobey, he starts the final in 7th place. He will not finish in 7th place. He'll either be 8th or 6th in the outcome of this match. A win leapfrogs him above Rob Cross. A defeat sees him go to the bottom of the table. And he'd feel a little bit harsh on Chris after what he's put in tonight. But he's playing the gentleman below him who's having a real purple patch the last couple of weeks.
It would be a real deflator, wouldn't it, to beat Humphreys and Aspinall and then lose a final, his first final since week 1 in Belfast, and then depart Rotterdam right at the bottom of the table, propping up the pile. Some reward would be his first nightly win since the 2nd of February 2023, when he KO'd Michael Van Gerwen in the final in Belfast. So a long time in between drinks for Hollywood. Stephen Bunting going to have to go back a few weeks to that epic night in Berlin, of course.
And Dobey, like Bunting, is now riding a bit of a wave. He was riding on then, and he'd just been crowned the Masters champion, quickly put into the Premier League, and then won the opening night. Just the one meeting between them in the Premier League this year was in Cardiff. It was a real nervy game from Bunting. Dobey coming through 6-2. They played in the UK Open as well. Dobey won on that occasion.
He wants tops the bullet, and he's away. Takes the opening leg. Now, you alluded to that game in Cardiff. That was a truly dismal duel in the quarter-final, wasn't it? 90 average plays, 87 Stephen Bunting's worst performance of the season, and not far off Chris Dobey's worst either. Dobey won the game, that's all that really matters, but it was a terrible match, and we expect much more from these two darters tonight, the way they've been playing here in Rotterdam, Mark, fair to say, I think. Yeah,
Wayne summed it up well in the chat as well. It's just got a different feel, hasn't it, this game? It's a final. That one had the feel of, you know, a bottom of the table clash, and it played out like that. There was missed doubles, and it just sort of festered in the whole match, and it was just sort of surviving in the fittest in the end, and Dobey got over the line. But both players were well below par. We expect much more from him tonight.
Definitely, that had a feel of a meeting between Southampton and Leicester. This is a feeling of two players right at the top of their game tonight, and you talk about the scalps that Stephen Bunting has collected tonight. He's beaten Michael Van Gerwen, the darling of the Dutch darts fans, and Luke Littler, the league leader and world champion. Doesn't come much bigger and better than that. Can he cap it off with a win over Chris Dobey? And that would be a tremendous night's work. And I tell you what, we talk about him coming off the bottom of the table, but not only that, Mark, it would ignite a bid to qualify for the semi-finals in the most unlikely of circumstances, wouldn't it?
He'll put himself in the mix. Both players will put themselves in the mix of victory here. We've kind of been very dismissive of them going into the, see what you can take from the rest of the Premier League campaign, keep playing, take some positives. And all of a sudden, there'd still be work to do, but they're in with a chance.
He wants double 16 for a level match, can't find it. So big fish time for the bullet. Can you, Stephen? Bring the house down at the Ahoy in this second leg of the final. Wild. So it should be 1-1 from here, all things being equal.
Pressure requires 32.
Hold the throw for Hollywood. Yeah, clinical. And the opening coupling leg shared. Holds a throw. Decent-ish start from the pair. Bunting already has a night win. Dobey, one of three players yet to have a nightly win. Rob Cross and Michael Van Gerwen, the other two.
Well, the maths of it all in terms of the playoff race, Dobey can get within 3 of the playoffs and Bunting 5. And, you know, we dress it up and saying, well, they were still in it a few weeks ago, but they were a long way behind, and I don't think too many people thought that Bunting could win 2 nights in the matter of weeks. Not many people thought that, but luckily enough, one of them was Stephen Bunting.
And then he went and quickly won a European tour, then his maiden European tour, so he just bounced from tournament to tournament. Last week played well, but was beaten by absolute brilliance from Luke Humphries. He may have left it too late, Bunting, but you never know.
Well, he's a chance now when he appeared to have no price when we rocked up in Berlin. What a beautiful 3-treble-18 turn from Chris Dobey to give himself every chance here of the break he needs and he craves. Leaves a big 3-figure out shot which would culminate on the bull if he can land it. But, oh but, another unlucky, and the gritted teeth he throws his third dart.
Yeah, he knows that there's not a lot more he can do with that second dart, just an unlucky deflection. But Dobey putting himself in a position to get a breaker throw unless Bunting finds a treble 17 and a bull, and he can't find the treble 17. Great chance early doors here for Chris Dobey.
Well, he's gone off underdog in every match tonight, Dobey, including this final. He wants double 16 to lead it. Lead it he does. 2-1 Dobey with the all-important break.
There's a 162 in that leg. That gave him the advantage, gave him some breathing space, Dobey.
134.
Munich the weekend on the European tour for the pair before we resume in the Premier League in Liverpool next Thursday.
97.
And weeks starting to run out now, Mark, aren't they? Wayne alluded to it, free match, when he talked about we're on the running now, and indeed we are. This is week 11. There are 16 regular weekly rounds. They culminate in Sheffield before finals night at the O2 Arena in London in May. So weeks are starting to run out now. There's no dramas for the likes of Littler at the top of the table. He could put his feet up for 5 weeks. Still chasing that elusive, now I think we'd have to call it, record-breaking 5th nightly competition win in the same season. Luke Littler, beaten by Bunting in a thriller.
Maybe not as inevitable as we thought, that 5th win. We're on 3 weeks without a win, a nightly win for Luke Littler. You mentioned he can put his feet up, he's got enough points. Humphries, you feel he's going to get there, he's got 23 points. That won't be enough as it stands, but you'd expect him to get the tally he needs. But then the race for the other 2 spots is wide open, even more so after tonight, regardless of what the outcome is here.
No certainties in professional darts, Mark. That's why they play the matches.
44.
We've seen that manifest tonight, with 2 of the outsiders in this elite 8-man field contesting the final. Great dart there to lead double 12, and a beautiful finish from Chris Dobey, who's flying now. He's run off 3 straight legs, he leads 3-1, he's in charge of this final.
Tip your hat to Chris Dobey, the both of them. None of them have sort of sulked when they've lost. They've kept their heads held up, they've gone away, they've worked hard, they've bounced to a European tour or a pro tour. They've just kept playing and just shown real good attitudes throughout this Premier League campaign. And whilst they've been stranded in the bottom 2 spots, they've been competitive every week. There's been some ropey performances, but they've just come here thinking every week that they can turn it around, and deservedly contesting the final here this evening.
Chris Dobey won in night 1 in February 2023. There have been 25 regular season nights contested by him since then. And the drought has gone all the way to the Netherlands. Tonight he hopes to end the drought.
47.
There's a chance of a double break now for Chris. Is he going to stay up? Yeah, shuffling along. He wasn't happy with that first dart. It was a decision to make, but by staying there, even with 3 straight 20s, when he grabs a treble, what I was getting at, he stays on the 22nd, he's going to leave a finish. Left a better one with that treble.
It's a bona fide opportunity, Mark, as you said, for the double break. But Stephen Bunting has other ideas, and that first maxi of the match leaves him on double 19 should he get the opportunity. Treble 18 for Dobey. Can't find the big trouble with either of the opening two darts, so Stephen Bunting's 180 has earned him the chance to salvage this leg and salvage his own throw. Double 19.
Straight at it. He's been on the receiving end of this a couple of times. Here's Michael Van Gerwen. There's the risk.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mark, when his World Championship win at the Lakeside, Bunting split everything like that. That was the MO. He went straight up and split. He didn't split there, he went straight at it. It didn't work. Dobey pounced. Dobey leads 4-1.
Yeah, the first... You can't really... The way Stephen's darts land, there's no guide with the first one. You're either in or you're going to block it a bit, and he obscured his view and overcompensated. And he ended the shot. And it's put Dobey in a brilliant position. That's a 4-1 lead with a double break.
He felt it was the right thing to do. It didn't work. And sometimes, in fact all the time, it's not about making the right decision, it's about making your decision right. And that occasion, Bunting missed, Dobey hit, and that is the very essence of Premier League darts. Dobey 4-1 with an average of 102.5 here. 10 points superior to his opponent.
And this is a real good performance from Dobey. Averaging up towards 104. His highest average in Premier League, 106. It's Michael Van Gerwen in his previous campaign. Putting himself in a position for a nightly victory and to put himself right back in the mix for the playoffs.
Stephen, you're in 170.
The big fish was elusive, it squirmed free earlier in the match, and it has again here.
96.
Chris Dobey lasering in on tops here with the eyes of a gunslinger. Once double 10.
Brilliant dart from Dobey. And Bunting finds himself in all sorts of bother now. The turning point was the darts at double 19. And that's what gifted Dobey the double break. And from here on in, Chris Dobey, he doesn't even really concern about this leg. Yes, he'd like to get it done now. He knows in the background he's got the insurance of throwing first in a couple more legs if needed.
It's a wonderful feeling to be in control of your game and in control of the match. 4 clear with 5 to play. Chris Dobey hasn't been in a final since Belfast, when he was taken to the cleaners by Luke Humphries. And since then there's been a lot of disappointments. In fact, prior to tonight he'd lost a total of 7 quarter-finals in 10 attempts. But tonight has been very different.
Bunting hasn't given up yet, though. He's come through some last leg deciders in his opening couple of games tonight. If he's going to turn this around, he's going to need another one. Plenty of work to do from here.
60.
As he say, the comeback's got to start somewhere.
Well, he's finding the treble 20 like it's the easiest thing in the world to do. He leaves tops. That's after a dozen darts, mind you. Chris Dobey can only just put a little bit of the heat on Bunting here, which he's done to some tune. But as Mark said, it doesn't matter to Dobey this leg. It's gone now, 5-2. The legs that really matter are the ones that Dobey throws first in, and this is one of them, the 8th. He'll have to throw in the 10th as well.
And his eyes will light up after that first dart, even more so now. Doesn't want to be hanging around here, Chris Dobey. Doesn't want to invite any encouragement to Stephen Bunting. Get it done here.
57.
Well, this is the leg that he delivers, the coup de grace. That's the target for Chris Dobey. And he's going about it very efficiently, very effectively. A brace of 2 treble visits to open up. Ideal.
And even if he fills up here, Chris Dobey is still in charge in this leg. Great shot though from Bunting. Good resiliency shown. He's going to make Chris Dobey earn this.
96.
And that ends any chance of leaving a finish, so Dobey with the luxury of having 2 visits if needed at 130 to wrap up a nightly win here in Rotterdam.
Well, he doesn't need to entertain a shot at the ball even if he finds the treble, so there's plenty of time here for Hollywood.
58.
It's okay, there's no dramas here, although Stephen Bunting can make it into a drama by hitting a max.
Yeah, he could still get a bit fiddly this for Chris, because there's only going to be, well, could only possibly be one dart at a double here if he doesn't find a treble.
48 the target. So another single 16 leaves him a dart for the title at tops. And Chris Dobey reigns in Rotterdam. He had to wait over 2 years since his first Premier League nightly win in 2023. The drought is over for Hollywood. A big, big win. Having beaten Humphries, Aspinall, and now Stephen Bunting in the final. Chris Dobey is back in the playoff mix after winning this final by 6 legs to 2.
Brilliant night for Chris Dobey, and there we see what a performance in that final. 6 from 9 on the doubles, 102 average. Bunting played around about his tournament average. A successful night for Bunting. He'll be a little bit disappointed the way he fizzled away in that final. The dart at double 19 in the 5th leg where it cost him. But for Dobey, a deserved winner. Victories over Humphries, Aspinall, and then Bunting puts him right back in the mix for the top 4, and a real opportunity coming up when we resume in Liverpool next week for both these players.
Well, he was a runner-up on week 1, just the 2 match wins since then until tonight. A wonderful run to the final and a dazzling display to see off Stephen Bunting and pick up a first weekly win. Chris Dobey, our 6th different winner this Premier League season. Let's just have a look at the standings then, as night 11 draws to a close. Looking a lot better for Chris Dobey, isn't it? Littler still top, 7 clear of Luke Humphries in second. Nathan Aspinall up to 17 points. Gerwin Price and Michael Van Gerwen remain locked on 15. Then Chris Dobey, just the 3 points off the top 4 now. How about that? Rob Cross stays on 12, and Stephen Bunting up to 8 points this evening. Chris Dobey has joined myself and Wayne on the stage. Chris, well done. 3 fantastic performances tonight. Maybe you saved the best till last in that final as well. How does it feel picking up your first weekly win of the season?
Yeah, it feels great, back in the winner's circle. I knew I could do it. It's just about performing on the night, and 3 great performances showed that I'm putting myself back in the mix.
It's been a long time coming, since week 1 when you hit the ground running, thinking this is going to be all right. Had you lost any belief at all in the subsequent weeks after that?
No, none at all. I'm a fighter. I've came through big matches where I've been cruising and then ended up losing, and I've gotten myself back amongst the elite, and I'm here to win. And yeah, I never ever give myself any doubt.
You're back in it now?
Yeah, definitely.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm like I say, I'm a fighter, and I'll be here till the end.
How do you keep that mindset then? Because even coming into tonight, you know, facing Luke Humphries in the quarterfinals, you were written off even ahead of that.
I think I learned it playing local stuff with my dad. He never let us win anything, and it's just that mindset, the old stubborn mindset, and I think I've got to take my hat off to that because there's a lot of people would have give up there.
In the practice room, I know what it's like when you go on a drought really of wins. It's tough, but has the practice room been all right? As in, have they been ribbing you? Has it been a case of bottom of the league and all that nonsense, you know, or have they been okay?
Yeah, you know better than me. Obviously, good friends with Nathan, and he's never shut up about it. So I'm glad to get that one on him. But yeah, the practice room's always great to be in. The great people, the Premier League now, the elite, they're all great lads, and they've made us feel all welcome. And yeah, I couldn't ask for any better lads.
You're part of the elite.
Yeah, I'm amongst them all now. So yeah, I'm just glad to be showing it now again.
Good.
You say you've kind of maintained this positive mindset. Just looking at the table there, just 3 points off the top 4 now. How much does that motivate you? We've still got 5 weeks left of this regular season.
Yeah, as I said in my pre-match interview earlier on, I believe I can still get into the top 4. And I've just showed tonight, I said to my friend over there, I said, I believe I can win this week. I've got a good chance next week. If I can keep this performance and the game, the way I'm playing, I think I've got a good chance.
Congratulations tonight.
Thank you very much.
Look forward to seeing you in Liverpool.
Thank you very much.
Well
Cheers.
done.
Great work. Good work.